opportunity for property managers to help reduce their delinquency because we figured out a way to report the negative or late payments. So the program can help increase an individual's credit score 20 to 70 points on a positive perspective, but it will also impact their score negatively and help reduce delinquency by over 50%, encouraging an individual to pay on time and making rent their priority to pay. So it started 4 years ago, kind of validated the idea, worked with some property management companies locally. We changed the name to CredHub about a year ago, got funded, and we've had continued growth and built an automated technology with a dashboard to create transparency of what we had learned from the marketplace. So that's what created CredHub, and that's where we are today.
Perfect. So there's other companies in the space that do this. Is that correct?
So there are a few companies, but we're a bolt-on technology. Most of the companies that we have come across are payment processors, and they may process payments only allowing to record positive payments on an individual's credit score. Our technology connects and bolts on to the back end of rent roll software systems, Yardi, RealPage, Rent Manager, Resman, etc. And therefore, we validate the payment that has been made because it comes out of the back end of the rent roll system, allowing us to report positive and negative. It also gives the property manager, on-site resident manager, transparency to see what information was reported to the credit bureaus once it's been uploaded and helps affect the individual's credit score. So we're different. But we also
that is
have
quite different.
and we also create a pass-through revenue opportunity for the property manager to make some additional revenue for their bottom line through our program.
Okay, explain how that works.
So we have Rent Cred Plus, which is it also includes an identity theft resolution services because identity theft is such an issue today, especially in larger properties with mail rooms, etc. And then, so with that, we charge $3.50 for this program that is identity theft resolution services, as well as reporting the rental payments to the credit bureaus, both positive and negative, on a monthly basis. So it would be our best results or best practices, or we make this program mandatory for all residents. We charge $3.50 per person on the lease, including the co-signer, and most of our clients charge $7. So they make a 50% increase of what we charge for the product and for the services that we provide. In addition to that, we also provide the resolution services, making sure that if they do have a credit issue, we take on all the responsibility to work with the credit bureaus to make sure if something was reported incorrectly, we will fix it. So we provide that customer support from a third party's perspective, not eliminating the burden to the on-site resident manager and getting them out of the credit business because they're in the property management business.
Got it. Okay. So Steve, what's your role at CredHub then?
Yeah. So I came in to the company about a year ago when we recapitalized the company, as Dave said, and renamed it to CredHub. And that recapitalization was really meant to build this platform so that we could do this back end rent roll sort of data pull, cleansing and reporting at scale. So my career was always in travel, automation and travel. I worked for the likes of Expedia and built AlaskaAir.com for Alaska Airlines, and had sort of retired from travel and was looking for an interesting new project that really had an element of doing good things for people that needed it, which I believe we're doing at CredHub. I mean, the folks that are now going to be able to get credit for their largest payment are young folks that are sort of credit invisible, or folks that need to get back on their in financial health, back on their feet. So it feels really good to be working in this market. I'm the CEO, so primarily looking at business development and strategy, finance, and the goal here is to really do this at scale nationally. Um, you mentioned what makes us different, and David had mentioned that payment of late and skipped that the element of negative reporting, the late and skipped payments, and its impact on getting residents to pay on time for property managers. No one's really done that at scale. Like Dave said, our others in the market that are doing reporting are almost entirely positive reporting, which is it's pretty easy. The hard part is what we do is getting all of the data reported and doing it at scale. So I came in with the recapitalization with an element of really sort of growing this thing nationally and doing it in a big way.
Perfect. Okay, so what questions do property managers typically want to know about CredHub?
Well, one of the things for me, especially coming into the property management space, having been to trade shows and travel and technology, the core of what we do is really, really easy to understand, which is really compelling. And then when we talk to property managers, it's pretty easy to get what we do in 90 seconds. Um,
Yeah,
like really, wow, you can report positive and negative to credit bureaus, reduce my delinquency, I can add a revenue stream, and my residents will like it because I'm helping them. Um,
yeah,
so there aren't a lot of questions there. We do get some questions as we roll through closing clients on the legal side. Um, um, we'll get a legal department in a property management company worrying about disputes from their residents. But it's a fairly easy question to answer because you know the residents have a financial obligation. They have a contract called a lease. It's not that different than a mortgage. So property management companies who aren't being paid by the residents have every right to report that to the credit bureaus. So there's an education process that I think we need to go through on that side of the sales process with property managers. Oftentimes we'll get questions on whether this is optional. Um, so they want a property management company may want to have this be an opt-in for their residents. That's not how we work. We report the entire file to the entire resident population to the credit bureaus, which is what they want. And the
okay,
program really only works for property managers if everybody's being reported,
right.
including those that are credit risk. Dave, do you have any other?
Yeah, I think a couple of analogies would be, and it really creates this carrot with the stick, encouraging people to pay on time. And because they require everybody all of the residents to be reported, the messaging is consistent for everyone. Um, it also has helped us because of our platform being so audit proof, because the information that needs to go to the credit bureaus has to be right. We've found that we've really helped clean up the data that we're pulling out of the system because it has to be correct. We provide an error submission report, and that report can go back. So it's something that maybe the on-site resident manager or assistant manager can help clean up as they're going through their lease renewals or new residency. We found errors or mistakes when maybe a check has come in and got incorrectly posted. Because ours is third party, it helps create checks and balances, and the system's so audit proof. It's provided an additional layer, but easy for people to log into and make the changes. And we support them 7 days a week, 24/7 if they have an issue. I think the other questions that may come up is, well, how does this work? And one of the things that for a property management firm who works with us, we create a trade line at the credit bureaus. We have credentialing privileges with TransUnion and Equifax, so we credentialed them and create a trade line with the bureaus. Therefore, if we are working with somebody and we pick a date that we report on the 10th of the month, well, rent is late at 30 days because we pay rent in advance. So if an individual is delinquent or pays late after the 10th, or they don't pay, well, Fair Credit Reporting Act says, it can't be turned to collections until 90 days. Well, we're going to be 40, or if we report on the 10th, we're going to be 50 days ahead of when that person can go to collections, affecting their credit score, encouraging them to pay the property manager in full, and not having to lose that income that could be the cost of going through collections. So that's a piece that becomes critical in what we do, and a lot of questions get surrounded about that. But we have all the credentials to create the trade line necessary for the property manager.
So how difficult is this for a property management business owner to implement? Maybe you could talk a little bit about the process.
So the process is, we meet with them, we work with them on the pricing and figure out when it would work for them to implement. Once we've created once we have a signed agreement, we try to implement it within 6 weeks if that works for them. We once we've got credentials with the bureaus, then our data team connects to works with somebody in their office. Usually takes an hour once we've pulled the data to get it out of the system. Then we go through some testing on our end, making sure that the data is correct. And then once we've confirmed that, we give them 4 weeks or the month of, let's just say we signed a contract in August. We would give them the month of September, kind of lay out a timeline that we work with them to educate their on-site resident managers, create a lease addendum, because we know that our best practices, if they put the addendum in the lease, it gets explained to them, helping that education of why it's important to pay your rent on time. And then they sign the leases with the addendum. We help them create, we have a template, but we can make changes to the addendum depending on how they want to implement it. And then we would begin reporting on the 10th of the following month, or on a mutually agreed date if they want to pull it. In some states, like in Washington, with the just changing the 3-day evict to 14-day evict, we've found that people are saying, we used to report some property management firms on the 15th, but because of that change, they have asked us to report on the 5th. So we can change the pull date and the report date, helping encourage, the protection of the property management company for these individuals who are playing the system or gaming the system and not paying their rent on time.
Okay. Cool. So, it sounds pretty simple. Sounds like a really good idea, really good service. Now, can landlords listening to this, besides property managers, also implement this, a homeowner?
Yes. So we work with any property type or size, and if they don't have a rent roll system, we just create a spreadsheet for them and collect the necessary information, and then they can upload the spreadsheet themselves through our portal. So we have a variety of ways we can connect and help people manage. Yeah.
Very cool. So, all right. So CredHub sounds like a brilliant idea. It reports the positive. It also reports the negative, incentivizing the tenants to make sure they're paying on time. It gives them the benefit of building some credit. So there's a carrot and a stick kind of connected to this. And you also have identity theft resolution that can be tied to this. That can be a profit center. So ultimately, how much does this cost the homeowner or the property manager? Or do they just make money doing this?
It's a pass-through revenue model. So they make money doing this. We bolt onto their existing system. We help them through the lease addendum with the residents, and they actually make money. So we like to think of it as a win-win-win. It's good for the residents, It's great for the property manager, and obviously we're in business for profit as well. But yeah,
Perfect.
There's no cost to the property.
Win-win-win. All right. Yeah. And All right. Anything else that anybody should know? How can they get in touch with CredHub if somebody's listening to this and they're wanting to get started, they're wanting to check you guys out? How can they connect?
So credhub.com would be the best place to go. We have a YouTube channel that has some really simple videos on it. You can link to those from the CredHub website. In fact, our sort of animated what we do video is in the hero image right on the homepage. And then we have a contact us section, and there's a form there that property managers can sign up with the number of units they have, and we'll follow up. So that's probably the best way to do it, is just to come visit us at credhub.com.
Perfect. Sounds like a no-brainer. It makes sense. I think what you guys are doing is going to help out a lot of people, which I resonate with, and I appreciate you guys coming out on the DoorGrow show.
Right. Yeah. Fun.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll let you guys go. So check out CredHub at credhub.com. And for those that are new to watching or listening to the DoorGrow show, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a review somewhere. That will really make a difference. And check us out at doorgrow.com if you're wanting to grow your property management business, or you're in need of a new website, or you're just wanting to make sure that your business is growing as effectively as it could. Reach out. We'd love to talk to you. Until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.